You and your wife are married for 18 years, great family, kids going into high school, and she leaves you a note, she's gone. That's not what this was. This was you were already sleeping in separate bedrooms. You'd been in counseling for 6 years, and it was a dignified separation and divorce. And that's okay. New CBA, older player past his prime, really expensive. Tough choices. I've seen them before. We'll see it again. The Warriors publicly almost apologized for the move. I get it. He's beloved. He's part of history and the Splash Brothers. But the truth is, and this goes for a lot of people in a lot of professions, Klay's going to a better team, an ascending team. He's a very shy kid. He won't be the star or even the number 2. He won't be the young ascending player or the star in their prime. It's actually a perfect spot for Klay Thompson, who at this point in his career is preferably the 4th best player on a championship team, maybe the 3rd. He still does have some really good nights, but he is like a Derek White, but doesn't defend like that for the Celtics. He doesn't defend like Derek anymore. At one point he did, maybe even better. And all of this is okay. This goes back to my opening rant. Real tough decisions. We all saw this coming for a year. I think people would be surprised how often that move that you're uncomfortable making, 6 months later, you're like, I could have done this 2 years ago. Here's Steve Kerr on Klay Thompson's exit from Golden State and entrance to the Mavericks.
Sometimes in life, we all need a shift. We need, just a fresh start, whatever it is, no matter what profession you're in, sometimes you just need a change. And I think, that's it. It's never easy when these things start to run out. But biggest thing is the relationships endure, the memories endure. Klay's going to have a statue outside Chase someday. He'll be beloved by his teammates and coaches and our fans.
Yeah, he is a Warrior forever. Marcus Thompson, you can look it up, has a great article on this. It'll get into your feels. But I remember when I started watching the NBA in the early 70s. It's the first sport I can really remember watching. And there was a backcourt of Jerry West and Gail Goodrich, the late Jerry West and Gail Goodrich. Goodrich, number 25, smaller guard, UCLA, real scorer. And it was like the backcourt. There was also Walt Frazier and Earl Monroe in New York. I didn't feel they were as prodigious, maybe offensive scoring. I thought Jerry West was the best of all 4 of those guards. And then there were the Splash Brothers, the greatest shooting backcourt of all time. At one point, Klay Thompson was also an elite defender, both ends of the floor. You'll get a statue. You made a fortune. But the new CBA makes this really punitive. Here's Klay Thompson, a little uncomfortable on moving to Dallas.
I'm very grateful for my time at Golden State. But I just felt like, moving on could just re-energize me and do something special for the rest of my career. Sometimes, breakups are necessary to do what's right. And when I was watching the playoffs and I'm watching the Mavs, make a run for the championship, I just saw myself fitting in really well with this team and the personnel. And they look like they have fun playing with each other and they play for each other. And that was very attractive for me. And that's really all I needed to see. And there's mutual interest there. And that's why I'm here.
By the way, he's a perfect fit for them because both Kyrie and Luka can be a little ball dominant, and Klay is a perfect catch and shoot player. So Nico Harrison, very sharp guy running the Mavericks, literally finds an aged but a perfect player. Luka's in the prime. He's the star. Kyrie's out of it, but still dangerous. Klay doesn't need the ball. He'll get you points, catch and shoot, perfect fit. His second chapter, my guess is, will be a really good one. Here's Jordan with the news.
No.
Turn on it. I don't know. Isn't it kind of an understanding in America? You do me well, I owe you a solid. That's like a given, right? I take you to the airport. You're buying the next dinner. I help you move. I get a little something back. Like, that's the American way. LeBron James has carried the NBA for 20 years. He didn't have a long playoff run this year. Did you see the NBA ratings? As every other sport, WNBA, Copa, Euros, college football, up. NBA ratings, tank. No LeBron. He carried the Lakers, not a well-run franchise, for 6 years, got him a title. Number one brand in the league. Carried the Cavs for 11 years. They've never mattered except when he played there. Got him a title. You owe me dinner if I help you move. If I carry your sport, get you a new TV contract worth $7 billion. You got a problem with Bronny James getting drafted by the Lakers? It's the weakest NBA draft in maybe ever. In fact, what's funny is the Milwaukee Bucks, 30 picks earlier, drafted a kid out of Australia that played 8 minutes a game in Australia and averaged less than Bronny. It shows how polarizing LeBron James is. I had more people ask me about that on the East Coast. And my takeaway is, you're really bothered by it? Let me ask you this. Let's say you've done well in your life and you have a favorite steakhouse in your small, middle-size, or big town. And you go to that steakhouse or the pasta joint and you buy a lot of wine for years. You spend a lot of money at that steakhouse. You know what I mean? You've taken a lot of business dinners at that steakhouse. You didn't have to. You chose to. Don't you, after a few years, feel like you get a little better pour on that Pinot? Maybe get you a better table? Damn straight you do. And so do I. We all have expectations. We seek favors. We all get a little entitled if we give you something. LeBron James has carried the league for 20 years. He and Steph Curry have carried the league. Neither made a playoff run this year. Ratings went to the tank as everything else is. The Copa and the Euros are going through the roof. NBA with a lot of good players. Global sport, tanked. No LeBron, no Steph. Yeah, I'm okay in the weakest draft ever. The Lakers going, we'll do you solid. In the 5 previous years before LeBron got to the Lakers, I could be wrong on this. I think they had the worst record in the league. They were a circus. They were leaking everywhere. He won him a title. Got him to another Western Conference Finals. In the weakest draft ever, his son, who, by the way, I think his son's a G Leaguer. I think at best he's a low-end rotational player. But this draft was horrible. After the 36th or 37th pick, you can argue it's a G League draft. I'm not losing sleep over it. And nor should you. Here was LeBron on the selection.
Obviously, it's a dream come true for me. Just see my son to be able to, be in the NBA alone. I mean, it's always been a dream of his. And for us to be side by side, it's a lot of words of loss, to be honest. I don't know. I mean, the kid has worked so hard to get back to this point. There's just so much has happened over the last year with him. To have this happen less than a year from his incident, to be with our friends and our family when they announced his name, it was something that was super surreal.
By the way, how many sons who aren't qualified or at minimum aren't the best candidate end up on their father's staffs in the NFL or college? Nobody gets too worked up over that. There's other far more qualified candidates. I think it's something about America that's understood, and I'm okay with it. You do me a solid, I got dinner. You help me move. Maybe I'm going through a tough time emotionally, and you're there for me. I owe you. I mean, how many owners take over for their parents that actually live up to expectations? Not many. We'll start with that. Don't get worked up over it. It's the world we live in. Inspect your own life, put a microscope on it, and if you really thought about the things you expect after you help others at a favorite restaurant, We all do it. It's okay. It's not worth losing 15 minutes of sleep over. All right. We got all sorts of stuff. Klay Thompson.